Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, my name is Scott, and I'm here to introduce Scott Whitten. He's going to be presenting his third speech in the Confident Speaker Manual, and the title is Recycling, What We Don't Know. He's going to share a lot of things about recycling that work against our shared goals. What are those goals? Listen, we'll find out. I think he also has, matter of fact, I know he has, prepared for this because he gave me a bunch of handouts that David's going to help me by passing down for all of you to have to help you in going through the many wonderful details about recycling and what we need to know. I present to you Scott Whitten.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning about a topic that is near and dear to my heart and does affect each and every one of us. As I made mention in a previous speech, I have been a recycling stalwart since the age of 7. I know many of you are concerned with the use of plastic containers in everything we do. Look at our table. Take out 19 or 20 items on our table this morning that aren't made out of plastic. I intend to dispel today some recycling myths and provide you with a few easy, actionable items that will help improve our environment. Now, there's a few misconceptions about recycling. I want to start there. And I'm also going to ask for some audience participation, so I hope everybody's had their coffee. True or false? Do all plastics placed in curbside collection bins at our homes, do they all get recycled? Does everything that ends up in the bin get recycled? True or false?
False.
False. That's correct. Many types of plastics are not readily recyclable. I had a great conversation with the director of the Orange Coast OCC College recycling program. He allowed me some time to ask some questions regarding recycling. And quickly and easily he said, locally, all that's being recycled, no matter what we put in the bin, is number 1, number 2, and number 4 plastics. Now I've had a handout which says what types of plastics are what and what they're most commonly used for. That leaves plastics number 3, 5, and 7 that will end up in a landfill. Now that's troubling because we're all doing the right thing. We see that chasing arrow symbol on the bottom of a plastic container, and we think we're doing the right thing. Next question. Does curbside collection in a community reduce the amount of plastics that go into a landfill? True or false?
True.
Not necessarily. The reason is, we all see that chasing arrow symbol, which is also on top of your handout. We see that symbol, we've become very accustomed with that. The American Plastics Council came up with that chasing arrow designation in 1988. But as we see that symbol, we think, I can buy this plastic water bottle. This is great. It says right on here, it's got an arrow, it's number 1. There's no problem buying this and using this. The idea is that the chasing arrow symbol does not indicate that it is actually being recycled. So having that can lend us to believe something that isn't true, meaning things aren't really as recyclable as we thought. Consumption doesn't go down. We feel that these items maybe are more eco-friendly than items that are recyclable and are recycled typically don't go back from being one of these to another one of these. They usually go from being one of these to being a curbside bumper or something other than that. And that is the end of its line. Typically, once something goes from this item to its next stop, typically it's not recyclable. So let's talk about actionable items. The actionable items that I wanted to bring up today were how we can reduce. And we've all heard that. So this will appear on its face to be redundant. Finding alternatives to reduce our use of plastics will then, of course, lower use of oil and so on and so forth. So the easiest way to help ourselves is to use refillable containers. I travel with one of these. This was in the fridge this morning, came with me. This is for my day on the road. I used to carry a flat of these I bought at Costco in my trunk. How easy is it to have 4 or 5 of these that I've purchased and have used, and it's got some road scars on it, and I've used this for a year? How many of those would I have gone for a year if I was still buying them flat at Costco? Reusable, refillable containers. Now, buying in bulk is a very dangerous thing to think about, because I just brought up Costco. Buying in bulk means trying to find things that are maybe, if they're constant use items, buying them in a little bit larger size. Now, I'm not talking about buying, 2 gallons of mustard. However, if it's a constant use item, you can help reduce use by maybe buying a slightly bigger size if possible. Again, 2 gallons of mustard would go well in my house. My wife loves mustard, but that won't help our environment for most. Buying things in glass containers. How many of us are reading labels these days? Show of hands. Okay, for one reason or the other. We've picked up the container and haven't put it right into our shopping basket in the supermarket. How much more effort would it take to either A, pick up something or look for something that's in the glass container, or flip it over and look at the bottom and see if the number is something that's readily recyclable? Number 1, number 2, number 4 plastic versus 3, 5, and 7. Quickly, 20% of plastic water bottles that I keep picking on them are recycled every year. That's fantastic. Maybe not. 40 billion bottles, 40 billion of these little plastic bottles end up in landfills in America every year. It takes 700 years for them to decompose into the environment. So, turn your bottles over when you're shopping, look for a number that's at least recyclable, you're helping yourself out. In closing, I would like to thank all of you. This is not a Debbie Downer kind of speech. I'd like to thank all of you for what you've done and are doing in recycling. And I'm going to read 2 quotes that have, I think, never been used before together. First is from poet and author Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Second quote is from country western singer and actor Jerry Reed. We've got a long way to go and a very short time to get there, and we're going to do what they say can't be done. Now that you know more about how and what is recyclable at your curbside collection, you can do better, and the long way we have to go and hopefully be shorter. And I'd leave you last with one quote from The Graduate: plastics. Thank you.